Food Service Power Plant Network. Welcome to our weekly conversation with an industry leader where we get to connect. We're coming out of the weekend. We're jamming into the week. At this point in the week, you are moving and you're grooving Monday night. I hope it started well. I hope you're surrounding yourself with the community that helps you perform at your highest levels. And tonight will be another, if you don't know Melissa, it will be another chance to pull another person kind of into your community. You know, we're big believers that success leaves clues, that we become like the people we spend the most time with. And so when we interview different industry leaders, you get to spend time with someone that maybe you don't know very well. And you get to hear from her and hear what she thinks and how she processes. Inevitably, that will change the way you think about your day or what's going on in your life. So get ready for that. My offerings to you, number one, if you have a pen, and a pen or a pad of paper or something like that, you might want to take some notes. There will be things that Melissa has to share, things that will come up that will inevitably benefit your story and your journey. And I want you to be able to hold on to those so that when you go to bed tonight, maybe you're like reading that, like, I wonder what Melissa meant here. And then overnight, your brain will stew. And then you'll wake up tomorrow morning and be like, boom, I got it. And life-changing. So I would encourage yourself, give yourself that gift. The other thing, if you want to make comments, you are welcome. Yo, good evening. Let's see who that is. We're going to just check real quick. But we would love to have you join us. Cliff Whitman. Yo, Cliff, up in Chicago. Yo, brother. You're welcome to say hi. You're welcome to ask questions. I've got a list of questions for Melissa. But the reason we do this live is so that we're doing this together. There's questions that come from outside of this office that you might have. And Melissa might have some fun answers to. So if you've got questions, throw them in. We'll do our best to get to you. We won't get to everything, but we'll try our hardest. Lastly, special thanks to the Zumba group who, reached out and said, hey, we want to help spread this message of positivity. To Kathy and Maureen and Dave and Joe and the whole crew over there. Thank you for your support and belief in this and helping spread this message and these conversations. We're so grateful for you. And also Crave, the team over at Crave, they're helping build the website and marketing. They said, how do we get the word out? They've been unbelievable to work with. And if you need, social media strategy, website, content creation, all this kind of stuff, go check them out. They're unbelievable. And I can't wait for tonight. Who's this? This is, let's see, comments. Glenn Lawless is in the house. What's up, FSPN? Glenn from Metro. Yo, brother. Well, look who else is here. Sandy Hoyt is in the house. Oh, one of my favorite humans on the planet. Hi, Sandy. Hey, get ready for a great night. Let's go find her. Melissa, where are you? Melissa!
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Well, I'm doing fantastic, Jason. How are you tonight?
These kind of almost always end up being one of my favorite nights of the week. Connecting with another industry friend, telling stories, learning insights. And so I love that you said yes to this and that we get to spend some time. So thanks for doing that.
And thanks for having me. I'm so elated to be here to talk with you this evening.
Oh, I love it. Look who else is here. Our mutual buddy, Mitch Marcotte. Yo, homie. Yo, Jason Wayne. Let's get her. You are awesome. Yo, Mitch. What's up, brother? David Maxwell. Looking forward to this time together. David, you are a light, my friend. And so am I. Okay, Melissa. So for those who don't know you, they haven't worked with you, collaborated with you. There are so many that have, but for any around the country that haven't, can you give us a little bit about some of your career journey to where you are now as the owner of Greenwald Sales and Marketing?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. Well, I started in the industry in 1978. That's the year I was born. In case anybody didn't catch that, you guys can do the math. I don't really care. I'm an open book, so fine. My father was a rep owner, and he started at a rep agency in 1978, working as a salesman. And he was a DSR at a small Cleveland area specialty group. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but he had been doing that for a while, and he was recruited by the owner of a company called Top of the Table when he left. So he was the DSR, and then he became the rep. And in about 1984, 85, he purchased the group. And so why I start there is because my smallwares journey and tabletop journey began when I was a child. I literally played with Bain Maries and ice scoops And there was a sample room at my house that was full of china that we used to play in and sort. And so that's really where the journey began. If you fast forward to my adult years, I went to law school, and for good or for bad, don't hate me, I am a licensed attorney in the state of Ohio. So if you're not in Ohio, don't ask me legal questions, please.
Okay. Did you go to Arizona State?
I went to Arizona State for undergrad. I am a Sun Devil.
Got it. Todd, Arizona, best law school in the U.S. All right, Todd. Love it, man. There you go.
Well, I went to law school in Cleveland Marshall. So, and that was a good experience too. Great time. And I was actually about in my second year of law school when I was like, well, this sucks. I don't want to do this. A lot of heavy stuff when you're practicing law. And so I started to kind of look around and try to understand what would be a better fit for me. And I was like, well, my dad loves the business that he's in, and he's been doing it my entire life. And he's happy, and I'm going to see what's up with that. So fast forward about another year when I'd been really paying attention to his rep agency. And he called me and he said, hey, I'm going up to Cleveland. Do you want to have dinner? Oh, great. Perfect opportunity. Just he and I can talk to him about my new vision, which is finish law school, because I'm not going to give up on what I had already started. And then talk about transitioning into his business. And when I told him that, he almost fell out of his chair, like actually almost fell out of his chair. And because I had never really expressed interest in the industry before. So I think he thought it was sort of a, fly in the pants kind of thing, like quick decision, but it wasn't. And I'd been thinking about it for a long time. So he then shared with me that he had gone to Cleveland to interview a girl for a new position he had created. And it was basically an end user specialist. And I got the job.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what got me into the manufacturer's rep part of the business. He then sold his company, and I went to work for that company for many years and had a great experience. And then just decided one day that I felt like, strategically we were thinking different things, and I wanted to try this for myself. So about 5 years ago, I started a rep agency in the Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky, West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania area. And we are now 10 strong as far as people. We have 16 lines we're very proud to represent, and we're continuing to grow both in terms of people and lines. And so that's my background. That's how I got here. And that's where I am today, just as happy as could be.
Oh, Melissa, good for you. What an awesome story.
Yeah.
It's, I love that you'd been thinking about that I remember the conversation I had with my dad, who was in the industry. Okay. I got in the industry at 77, turns out. I'm right there with you, like putting away Oneida flatware as a 6-year-old, right? Like in the sample room. Mm-hmm. And it was at a dinner where the same conversation happened with my dad. I love these stories.
That's so great.
Awesome. Melissa French, Greenwald Strong. Boom. Love it. Sandy, love me some Greenwald sales.
And we love Sandy.
That's amazing. Melissa, 5 years, 10 people on your team. That's really amazing. I applaud you all for what you're doing. Like, is there as you look at it, as you've grown, and obviously you've got lines that support, like all this kind of stuff, people that believe in you and say, Melissa, we want you and your team to do what we're doing. What's something that you would say, like, as you build your organization, that is most meaningful to you, that attracts great people and keeps great people? Is it culture? Is it like, what is it that one of your emphasis to bring great people on and keep them?
It's a great question. And I will give credit to actually a book called Traction. If you haven't read it, it's by a guy named Gino Wickman. Great business book. And we're not like hardcore traction at our company, but he said, that you got to have core values, and you've kind of got to assess yourself, right? And your culture, and understand what you want your business to look like. And it's really got to be reiterated by those core values, excuse me. Mm-hmm. So we have 6 core values that we absolutely live by. When I say that, I mean that that's how we hire people. We want to make sure that they fit the core values. When we're looking at new lines, we want to make sure that they fit the core values. When we have an issue, a problem, whatever that is, we're looking to see where does that not fit into our core values. And we're serious about this. So a lot of folks, you get your core values, you throw them up on the wall. That's that. We make an emphasis on those in a weekly conference call. So we gather as a team weekly, and during that call, this is an inside scoop on Greenwald sales here, but we give each other core value shout outs at the end of the call. So it's a part of our every week routine. And we're taking something that somebody did that week. We're assigning it a core value. We're telling them, way to go, kudos, props, shout out. You did a great job. So we're really working through those core values. And it's evident. I mean, it's evident in everything that we do from top to bottom. So that's how we do it.
I love it. I love the emphasis and the shout outs. Freaking look at this. Todd says, "Where's Chuck?" Guess who shows up? Chuck. Oh, Melissa.
Chuck on Facebook? Holy cow.
Well, you know what?
He's on LinkedIn. Sorry.
I was going to say, he might be on LinkedIn. That is so awesome. Yo, Chuck. This is our friend. I don't know if you know Shannon Solomon. Shannon has been on our show. She is the director of nutrition services at Aurora Public Schools in Colorado. Melissa, way to walk the talk and have a North Star of your company's core values. Love, love, love the shout outs. So great. Oh, Margie, favorite part of the call, core value shout outs. Way to go. That's so fun. When you are, owning a rep firm, caring for your team, caring for your clients, your manufacturers, caring for your customers, is a lot. Of course, there's a lot of energy that goes into all that, I'm sure, thinking through it and then executing, et cetera. When you are not thinking work, when you are not there, tell us, like, what do you do? It's so important to recharge our batteries, to have things that bring us life outside of what we're doing, to create some level of balance or boundary. What is it for you?
Great question. I think there's probably a couple of different things. So if you can see behind me, there's a palm tree. So yep. Surprise, I'm not in Ohio right now. So I think the things that recharge me are really getting some time away, really putting my feet in the sand and feeling the ocean breeze a little bit. I really like that. I try to do it more often than we've been able to do it for the past few years, right, with COVID. So this is kind of our first run at getting out of town in a while. So we're having a good time. But yes, so I would say recharge is like beach. And then I picked up a habit.
I'm so interested of what's coming next.
It's not that exciting. I had to frame it that way. I picked up a habit in COVID, which is I started golfing, and I actually really like it.
Nice.
I've always golfed. I've always like putzed through golf or whatever, one or two times a year, an outing here and there. But in COVID, I had the opportunity to start golfing with a group of girlfriends of mine from high school. And we just have such a blast. And so I try once a week to get out and golf, even through the winter, if that means going to Top Golf. But just having a few minutes with my friends, my dear friends, that really resets my battery. So I'm happy to say that I'm in Florida right now. So I got some beach, I got some golf with my mom and my husband. And so I am recharged. Look out.
Way to go. Is there a part of your game you enjoy? Do you prefer like short game? Do you prefer the long shots, like off the tee and the long irons? That's your jam?
Nah, probably not long irons. I would say off the tee and maybe even putting. But other than that, short game, not good. Still working. Okay. I'm still a newbie.
So fun. I love that you picked that up. Look at this. Jeffrey Johnson. I've worked with Melissa in different capacities for many years. Total pro and a great friend. Oh, that's so fun. Shannon Solomon agreed. Fellowship with friends is priceless. Heck yes. The 19th hole, always.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll take it. And then this is Jim Clement. Yo, Jim. Okay, Melissa, I think so many of us kind of fall into the industry one way or another. You and I both sort of fell in. Our dads were reps. Um, you have a law degree. I had a education degree. I came from teaching. And I think it's always cool when people come from a total different background and bring that skill set into food service. I think there's this perception at times that to end up in roles in food service as a manufacturer, as a rep, as a dealer, as a service, whatever it is, that you like had to like spend your entire life up to that in a restaurant, which of course isn't true. So for you bringing in a law degree, tell me how you kind of use that or how that gives you perspective in what you're doing now.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And I would say that if you have a law degree, you know that it just changes the way that you think. So it's almost impossible to go back to like pre-law degree thought process on anything, which is a blessing and a curse, because I'm constantly concerned with like, well, what's the liability in that, or where are we susceptible here? But at the same time, I'm obviously protecting, our assets. I'll tell you a story. We recently purchased a building in Cleveland for our Cleveland area showroom. And in the process of that, a funky legal, what would I call it? I don't know, obstacle came flying in. Somebody tried to exercise a right of first refusal on our purchase. And it became clear that there was going to be some legal implications. The good news was I was able to look at it and say, you know what? I don't think that's actually what this says. I think we can get through this. And then I turned it over to my husband, who is an attorney, who was able to actually get us through it. But the bottom line is I can't take two steps without, implementing that law degree and how that affects my mind and my thought process. I mean, everything from our contracts with our manufacturers to the employee manuals, all of that process. It's actually been, I would say, a super important part of our success, being able to navigate through some of those tough waters without having any any fear that we weren't going to accomplish what we set out to accomplish.
Sure. I love that you have that perspective in those eyes. I mean, we, none of us in our firm were lawyers. And there was always, Mopsy had some lawyers that you could reach out to. And there were different points in our career that we reached out. But I think having that, I mean, day in and day out right in here, and in your spouse to be able to think through all those things, I have to imagine is a huge benefit to even, I mean, the amount of times I took 10 steps forward and then realized I shouldn't have, I think it's great to know ahead of time. What a gift. Okay. Mitch Marcotte, 70% of all golf shots are inside 100 yards, work the short game. Mitch, I love that you know that. I love that you know that. That's so good. Todd, great question. Who at Greenwald hits the longest drive?
Well, I guess that depends. In our golf outing, when we have women's longest drives, sometimes it's me, but it's probably Chuck Kiley. We'll give him credit for that.
Okay, boom. I'm open to the possibility it can change at any point. Mary Dunn is in the house. Mary, yo, boom. Hi, rock on. Mary's my colleague at Cal Mill, an absolute superstar of a human being and a food service professional. Okay. Next question. Was there's, I think oftentimes there's a belief when, we see organizations accomplishing great things and we see individuals doing some really cool things that we tend to block out the fact that there's challenges that we all work through and we all overcome and we have to figure out and we gut it out that are hard. Was there anything that you worked through, like a challenge you overcame that really taught you like, you know what, I can figure this out. Like I can keep going. I've got what it takes. Anything in particular?
Yeah. So I think the thing that comes to mind for me is actually at the very beginning of my career. So here's another confession. I didn't pass the bar exam when I first took it. So I told you how I got to where I am. I interviewed with my dad sitting at the table that night. I graduated from law school and I took the bar exam because I wasn't going to let that degree slip away. But I didn't pass it the first time. And by a very narrow amount, like one question's worth of an answer. And so I was like, oh no, I just spent all this time, all this money, all this, blood, sweat, and tears, somewhat literally, on this degree. And now I work at a rep agency in Columbus, Ohio. And what am I going to do now? Should I go back? Do I finish this thing? Do I do it again? put myself through it, because if you don't know, the stress of the bar exam is probably one of the greatest stresses that, people can subject themselves to on purpose. And so I did. I took it again, and I had just started working as a rep, and that's when I started drinking coffee.
Okay.
Never gave that one up, but that was when I started, because it was long days and long nights, and worth it. Crushed it the second time, still have my license, continue to keep up legal education, which is great. Again, use it every day in my business now. So I would say that was probably a moment of a really probably one of the lowest moments from a career business standpoint that I hit.
Yeah. Way to come back. I mean, I could see, I didn't go to law school, but going through that experience to study and grind out something so stressful, I can see how it could be easy for one to say, you know what? I gave it my best. I'm into something new. Why put myself through that again? Was there, I have to imagine you thought those thoughts, like, do I put myself through this again or not? Was it did you decide to pursue it still through the pride of saying, listen, I want to accomplish this. It means something to me. Like, I don't want to work through all that and walk away with nothing. Like, was there a main thought in your head?
Yeah, basically that. I had set myself a goal, and I'm very much a goal-oriented person, and that was one that I did not attain, which was somewhat unusual. And I felt like if I didn't do that, I would have regretted it forever. And so it was the opportunity. I mean, I could have postponed that, but that would have been a bad decision too, because never was I as fresh, on the law stuff as then. So yeah, there was no reason to postpone it or anything like that. It had to be done. It had to be done right. Just something that's probably ingrained in my brain, as far as like the hard work, the goal setting, achieve the goal.
Good for you. Good Lord. I love it. You're getting some shout outs. Shannon Salmon, you rock. Yes, you do. This is our buddy Dwayne Guidry with Crane. Awesome lady here. Hi, Melissa, Jason. Yo, brother, what's up? Todd, is it illegal to break a case pack in Ohio?
It is not, but it usually carries a small order charge.
So good. Todd, that's going to be on an exam. You get ready for it. And if it doesn't work the first time, you're taking it again. Stuart's here. Great to hear from you, Melissa. Stuart, great to see you, man. This is so fun. I love it. Okay. Owning a rep firm, owning anything is a lot of energy. I'm sure you're growing, you're caring for people. There's strategy, there's execution, etc. You're married, and you've got a relatively 2-ish-year-old baby boy. All of those things, there's wonderful energy that goes into maintaining a marriage, being a mom, being a business owner. Do you have any practices you have, boundaries you create, or I don't know what the word might be for you, whether it's balance boundaries, to help you sort of make sure that you're giving your energy and able to receive back from all of those things in a way that honors all of it?
Yeah, I think that you have to be like, time management is so important, and achieving that work-life balance. I think that's where you're headed with that, right? It's sort of, how do you achieve that work-life balance? I believe that is that's like the ultimate definition of success, really, is achieving work-life balance. And so for me, time management is absolutely critical. I'm constantly, let me just back up and say this. So FENS magazine recently asked me, like, what percentage of my time goes unplanned? And I was like, unplanned? Is there such a thing as unplanned time? I didn't know that was an option. So I gave like a quick, less than 5% answer, which is probably about right. Having a toddler, and being just, he's just the light of my life, right? And he's so bright and energetic, and he loves to be with me. And so really just making sure that I have time set aside for him, so that he gets the nurture that he needs. But then also, the same thing on the side with the business, right? I think if you ask my team, they would tell you, my phone line's always open. My door's always open. You always can reach me. Because I want to give back and provide as much feedback and energy back to the team as I possibly can. So, but that achieving that work-life balance, that has taken me years to perfect. Let's just say that. I don't think I haven't perfected it. I shouldn't have said that. It's taken me years to get okay at it. And I think that I just continue to grow into how to manage that. And that's the thing, Jason. That's the big thing, is how do you do it?
I know. Well, let me ask you this. So in time management, does this look like if I were to look at your schedule, like you were to open up your day calendar or the week calendar, like, do you have really like just tons of blocks of time booked out? Like, this is family time. Like, when you say time management and less than 5% is unscheduled, can I see it in a schedule, or is it a lot in your head, or it's all up there? Got it.
I mean, it's not all up there. Believe me, there's a lot down on the calendar too.
Yeah.
And I'm very critical, but I just, listen, here's something that I believe firmly in. Okay. Here's another secret of mine.
Love it.
I like to leave the office by 5. I didn't used to do that. I used to be in the office until 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. So that's not healthy. It's not good. You need the rest. You need the downtime, and you need the family time. And so now I like to shut down shop at 5. Now, don't get me wrong. After bath time and bedtime, around 8:30, 9 o'clock, you'll probably start getting more emails back from me or meeting invites or whatever that may be, because I'm getting back to it. And that's where, that is not planned on a calendar, but that's just my daily course of action.
Sure. Love it. I love these insights. I listened to a podcast yesterday. I was on a run, and it was an astronaut. I think her name was Christine. She was in space for 11 months. And she said that up there, every 5 minutes of their time was planned. And so, like, in 5-minute increments, it made me think of, like, I think Elon Musk does that or something. And so I was like, I don't know. I mean, I certainly have appointments in my calendar and certain phone calls and things like that, but I've never, booked it out by the half an hour. And sometimes I'm like, I should just try that for a month. I wonder what it would do for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, look at this. Stuart wouldn't miss Melissa for anything. I stinking love it. Margie, the best boss ever. Yes. Jeff, wait, I'm still at my office.
Go home, Jeff. You need some balance.
You heard her. She said it. You need it. We all need it. And I would agree. Well done finding balance. David. David Anastasi. David. Love it. So great. Here's a question. Do you use AQ?
We do. Yes, we do.
So do I. I think I used it today, as a matter of fact. There we go.
Every day.
Hi, Dean. Good to see you. Great question. Jason, that's not healthy. I don't know. Oh, the 5-minute. I'm guessing Dean might be talking about 5-minute scheduling. Yeah, I don't know if it is or it isn't. I've never done it. But I'm open to trying new things. And, who knows? Maybe I would find it benefited a lot of things. I don't know. I just got to try it, I think. I need someone to teach me. Michelle. Melissa understands the importance of family and flexibility, and it is modeled and also extended to her employees. Michelle, that is a great point. When I think for an employee, when the leader of an organization models a certain behavior, it's way easier for you to feel comfortable to exhibit that in your own life as well. If you have someone that just goes 24/7, doesn't value family or doesn't value some healthy practice or whatever that is, then you might feel guilty, I think, to try to pull that off yourself. And the modeling is the biggest part. I mean, I think, Melissa, you could say, hey, everybody, I want you to have boundaries, but if you never did, it'd be harder for your team to maybe believe it, I think. I don't know.
Right. No, I think you're right. And I think, Michelle, thanks for sharing that. That's a good point. I believe that, how do I put this? As we're bringing up new generations into the workplace, right? There's different things that are important. I'm on the cusp, you are too, Jason, of being a millennial versus a Generation X. They call us Xennials. I don't know if you've heard that, but sometimes it's a thing. I'm an Xennial, but sometimes those kinds of like intangible benefits of being able to say, listen, my son has a thing at school today and I'd really like to be able to go see it. Can I do it and make up some hours? Like, yeah, I want you to do that. And I want him to know that his mother was there and watched him do that. So absolutely.
Good for you. This is great. Okay, Todd's asking a question. Before I'm going to preface this before you answer. I heard an interview the other day with Rob Connolly, who's immediate past president of NAFTA, president of Henny Penny, and a podcast interviewer asked him, and they do a lot with chains, right? Henny Penny has a lot with chain accounts, and the guy asked him, "What's your favorite restaurant to eat at?" And Rob said, "Yes," and then he goes, "Who's your favorite child?" And as a way to retort, so Todd's asking, "What's your favorite line to sell?"
Yeah.
And I feel like that might be the answer.
Who's your favorite child, Todd?
I don't know if Todd has kids. There you go. But yeah, that's a hard one to say. You love them all, right? I mean, are you with them all? And
I really do. And I'm really, really proud of our line card. I really, really love the lines that we work with. We are very, I don't want to say particular, but we do look for a certain culture that fits our culture. And so, Todd, the answer is yes, and all of them.
Good for you. Well done. Well done. I love that you went for it, Todd, and I love how you answered it, Melissa. Love it. Glenn Davis, so proud that you represent Tablecraft. Continued success. Awesome. That is so great. Hi, everyone watching here from Florida. This is our buddy Ben. Yo, Ben, what's up? Todd's agreeing. That's so good. Okay, Melissa. A rep of the future must be able to
change.
Oh, snap.
See, and that's the one. You've got to be able to change. The world is changing around us every minute. The way the industry is going to market is changing constantly. The function of the rep is changing constantly. What's required of a rep agency is changing constantly. And so I think the most important thing a rep can do as they're looking to their future is be ready. Be ready for the change. It's happening all around you and you've got to ride the wave. So figure out, by the way, if you can figure out like the one step ahead, then you're really in business.
Yeah. Is there anything that pops out top of mind that you're like in the last couple years you've seen that you would say this is the most dramatic change that we've seen or made? Like in my head, that like the idea of video comes to mind, like the need to communicate via video seems to be one of the greatest changes that I've seen.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I would say the use of social media for marketing is huge. We have a strong presence on social media, and I think that was I don't want to be the one to spill the beans to everybody, but food service is always a little bit behind other industries. So, some of the things that we're doing with social right now are probably behind the game for other industries. And so I think it's incumbent upon reps as they're looking to the future to look to other industries that lead and figure out what the path is going to be for the food service rep. Because it will follow that path. And so you don't need a crystal ball if you just open your eyes and kind of look around. But yeah, I think social has been a huge change in the past 5 years, the importance of social, and needless to say, at the time when everything was shut down and you couldn't see a customer in person, that social was the way that you kept in front of them. And that was the best way to do it. I think now things are changing a little bit. And I think in that way, the social should change as well.
Yeah. Good for you. I love that you're looking outside. You recognize that things are happening. Oftentimes we might be a step or two behind. So when you can look into other industries and see what are they doing there that's unique that we're not doing yet and pull that in and proactively, I think that is huge, huge gift. Huge gift. Okay. Here's another open-ended. I am happiest when
I'm snuggling my baby.
Yeah.
Baby snuggles. They're the best.
Aren't they? Oh my gosh. Here's the good news. They, I hope they never end. I've got a teenager now and then an almost teenager, and we still get them. They're less frequent. Like my favorite, like it's turned into a joke, but my daughter we would hold hands everywhere we went, like down the street, on the beach, whatever. Right. And now it's a little bit harder. Like I'll be like, hey, let's hold hands. I know she's going to roll her eyes and be like, oh my gosh, Dad, are you kidding me? Like I'm like I'm cool for a moment. And if I hold your hand, I'm the opposite of that, but I still get them. And there's nothing like a snuggle with a kid.
Yep. Can't be replicated.
Good answer. Good answer. Here's an interesting question from Dean, and this might be, it's probably like, how has Webstaurant e-commerce affected your sales? Certainly that change continues in the industry. You look at the dealer, I forget what FENS calls it, but the top 100 dealers, it just came out. Yeah. And certainly there's been considerable growth for dealers that sell via an online platform. Anything that you'd see there, Melissa?
Yeah, so I think, Dean, to answer that, obviously it's impacted what we do a lot in a lot of ways, whether that's when you're talking with a dealer and you're talking to them about, their pricing strategy and things like that, or whether you're dealing with an end user and they're like, oh, well, I just bought this online and it doesn't matter where. I'm not going to point fingers at in any direction. It could be any online dealer. So I think when I talk about what the rep of the future needs to do and be able to do and be able to change, it really, this is a big reason for that. Because as this continues to evolve and become the marketplace for how these kinds of items are going to be purchased, we all just need to be at the forefront of how we're going to approach that, whether that's via marketing, whether that's your relationship with your manufacturer to your rep. But all of that is happening at rapid pace around us. And that's where we just need to look to other industries, see what's happened, utilize some best practices and put that into action. But there's no question that the e-commerce platform has impacted our sales and the way we go to market.
Sure. Really well said, Melissa. Really well said. Love that we're back to face-to-face meetings. Zoom worked 2 years. Yeah, it did. For sure it did, Zena. I'm still using it in mine. Certainly not as much now that we're able to get back to back, but a little bit. Here's another question. Good. Thanks for saying that, Zena. Ruby, do you continue to call on customers as a principal? Great question, Rube.
It's like my favorite part of the day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love to call on customers. It goes back to balance. It's now we're in like work balance, right? Because there's as I always call it, the working on your business versus the working in your business. Mm-hmm. And I do a lot of working on the business, especially as a newer company and the things that we're working on. But I don't know, 60% of my day is still working in the business, dealing with customers, whether that's end users or dealers. And of course, our factories too, right? We consider those to be customers as well. So absolutely 100% all day long.
Good call. I love it too. There's this, I don't know, like this whole idea that we fall in love doing something we do, right? Calling on customers. We got into food service. We love making calls and working with customers. And then as people continue to rise up, then maybe some people go from sales into management. They excel in sales and they go into management. And then oftentimes people forget their original love, like what they fell in love with in the first place. And so I love that as your careers change and evolved, and now you own a firm and you're in management, that you still recognize this. I love this part of it. You said it's the favorite part of my day, and you're not letting go of that part. I mean, it can't be 100% of your time anymore, but I applaud you for holding on to that. I love it.
Yes.
Good for you. Rick Palmer's in the house. Fist bump, double fist bump, Rick. I freaking love it. Proudest moment of your professional career?
It's a good question. That's a tough one. I would say, recently I was honored with an award from Mossy. That was a super proud moment. And then a couple weeks later, I was honored with another award from FENS magazine, and that was a super proud moment. So like, I don't know which was more impactful, but I am just so grateful and honored to be the recipient of both of those awards this year. I hope I haven't peaked.
No. It's you're just getting warmed up. We're exennials or whatever you said we are. So you got plenty of time. And I think I failed to mention that, but Melissa was this year's FENS magazine Achievement Award winner in the rep category, high achiever. and which is just unbelievable considering that you've got hundreds or thousands of other reps in the industry, individuals doing what we do, that to be recognized and called out and honored so that other people get to hear your story. And so that's really, really rad. Congrats.
Thank you.
Freaking love it. Look at this. Love that you point out that factories are customers also. Yes. Well said. Yeah, a customer is someone we take care of, we serve. We want to help create for them whatever it is they desire. And so for a distributor or an end user might be opening a restaurant, a distributor might be helping get a restaurant open. Our manufacturer customers are certainly those that are trying to grow their sales and create greater influence in a market. Love it. Well said, Mike. Congratulations. That's amazing. Freaking awesome. Look at this. She totally deserved those awards. Oh, yes, she did. Mike, Melissa, you're a leader to be admired. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Mike.
Freaking love it. For any young people looking to come in the industry, and I know as an industry, we're having so many conversations about how do we get them in? Let's bring them in. Let's give them a home, and let's make them feel welcome and like they can be successful. What advice would you tell a 25-year-old person wondering, should I keep working in the restaurant or should I try a different side of this? Or I'm not loving being a lawyer right now. Maybe I should try something new, or whatever that is. What's the advice you'd give to them to experience like success and fulfillment in our food service industry?
Well, as I mentioned to you before the call, I think we have the most fun industry. We really do. The people are fun. The discussions, the products, the everything. It's fun. We're talking about hospitality, entertainment. It's good stuff. Yeah. So I would say for starters, you're in the right space if you like to have fun. And then I think the second thing I would tell the young folks is that you got to earn your stripes. You've got to work. You've got to pound the streets and do what you've got to do to grow into the environment, into the role. So I would just say keep pounding the streets in this fun industry. It will pay off. It will pay off in spades.
Good answer. I love it. Because in that pounding the streets, I mean, that's where you figure out what the industry really is. It's hard to understand the nuances. How could you know what customers really need and value if you're not in their restaurants or in their schools or in their hospitals working with them to help them feed their customers? And then, of course, from that comes pride as well, which is what everybody's hoping for. Good answers. Ruby says, don't skip steps. I love it. Okay, Melissa, I've got one more question. Everyone defines success differently. How are they defining it in their journey? How would you define success?
Yeah, and I actually mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I think by achieving work-life balance, you have achieved success. Because work is important, and what we do, we love. We just talked about fun industry, we love it. But, family is the most important, right? And your health, right? You've got to balance all of that together and make sure you're coming out. That will just keep you positive, and that will just keep you rolling and flowing and selling or whatever it is that you're doing in your role in the industry, because you're taking care of yourself. So I really believe that when you can find work-life balance and truly find it, again, I'm still working on it, but I'm getting closer and closer every day. That's when you can find your ultimate success.
I think that's great because you're right. To perform at a level professionally, we have to have energy. We have to be fueling ourselves.
Right.
And that fuel, there's a level of fuel that comes in our business as we dream and we want to accomplish things and all that, but certainly from without as well is a huge part of it. So really well said. I think that's a great definition. And for all those watching, I hope, I talk to a lot of folks right now in the industry, and where this very topic of work-life balance feels particularly challenging for people to get to experience for whatever reason, where they're, doing twice as much work to try to sell the same stuff, to follow things and figure out when it's coming and what's back ordered, all these different things. And so, I would offer encouragement to so many watching. Yeah, you experience that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Calm down, take a breath, and take those steps to take care of you. And I would even say if you're not inherently great at stepping away, if you find yourself, you stay, I can do this. I mean, I can be 30 emails deep and I can just be like, you know what? I just want to get it done. I just want to get it done. And that can happen every day. And so it's like, allow yourself cut at times. Melissa leaves at 5. Now she'll come back to it. She'll get it done, but she leaves at 5 and she goes home and she has family time and all, these things that matter to her so that she can then come back refreshed to answer some of that stuff and plan and dream and all this kind of jazz. So I would say, remember to take care of you, intentionally take care of you. Excellent advice, by the way, is what someone said. Who's this? Sally Ray. Hi, Sally. So great. Melissa, look, I really want to thank you for coming on. When I met you 2016, I think it was, were you on the MOPSI board in 2016?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think that's when I joined.
Okay.
And you were there when
Cisco.
I came on the board. And then, I don't know, there is a wisdom to you and an insight and a focus and a joy, like a desire to play / laugh / have fun. That is just, I don't know. It's so fun to watch. And I love to see that you carrying on all of those things in your organization now, and to see the ways that those are benefiting your teammates who are all here with pride tonight, giving shout outs, and in the industry with some of this fun recognition. So thanks for being that light. We talked about modeling, right? The way you're doing it, from my limited perspective and some others here, it's modeling something really cool that many can look up to and say, I wonder how I create that. So thanks for doing that.
Thanks, Jason. Hey, before we part, I don't know if that's where you were headed, but I want to give you a core value shout out for one of our core values. Yeah, that's what we do when we end the calls, right? So exhibit unparalleled professionalism for really taking this idea of the food service power plant network and just embracing it and growing it to what it is, and getting your sponsorships. I mean, you're killing it and you're doing such good for the industry. And we are so thankful for you, Jason. And we couldn't be more proud to have you as one of our own in the industry. So.
Oh, Melissa. Well, I feel honored to exhibit one of your core values, and thank you for your friendship and everything. I'm not quite done. So in terms of what you're doing, you're modeling, right? Yeah. I learned this a long time ago, but the great motivator is story. And it's people seeing your story, hearing your story, watching what you do. And there's a lot of people who have learned from you. I think these recent recognitions and awards it's simply the byproduct of years of what people have been seeing in you. And so I want to offer some encouraging words from some of your friends, different industry friends. This is my favorite part. Boom, boom, boom. Our buddy, Chris East. Thanks for allowing me to share some perspective on Melissa. There's no question she's a dynamo in growing a business, and continues to be a formidable sales rep, earning the highest respect for her manufacturers. She radiates a positive company culture, and she contributes so much to the MOPSI board. Understand, though, those are all industry-facing endeavors where the positive behaviors can't help but generate a beneficial return, where positivity creates opportunity. While all that is truly inspiring, what impresses me most about Melissa Greenwald is that while the world gets to see so many outward positives, I think the truly lucky of us get the privilege of seeing what she quietly does behind the scenes. It's the mentoring and coaching to not only build people up, but to give them the tools to build themselves and others up. The quiet generosity of her time, her wisdom, and the experiences to others that is truly selfless, expecting nothing in return. That's what impresses me most. Thanks for the opportunity to share my 2 cents of one of the best in the industry, about one of the best in the industry.
Thanks, Chris. So eloquent.
He is, man. He's great with words. Chad Sarah from Wasserstrom.
Oh, yeah.
I've known Melissa for over 20 years. I knew her father as well, who was an industry leader in his own right and an all-around great person. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And Melissa clearly possesses all those same qualities. It's wonderful to see her follow his lead and at the same time create her own path, a path that I am sure has not been an easy one, especially considering the last few years. She's managed to do this despite the difficulties and found a way to excel at the top of her profession. I'm thrilled to see her succeed and be recognized. Melissa is a smart and talented businesswoman, but what makes her special is what's deep down inside. I'm glad to work with her, but even more thrilled to call her a friend.
Oh, thanks, Chad. It's awesome.
So fun. Our buddy Chuck Kiley.
Oh.
Chuck, Melissa is an amazing entrepreneur. She is super creative, extremely hardworking, and has great insights. Beyond these attributes, the thing about Melissa I admire most is her outstanding character and integrity. She is fair, compassionate, and caring in her role as a business owner. But the role that she holds most dear is that of a mother and a wife. Family is everything to her, and as her employees, are blessed to be a part of her extended family. Melissa, thank you for giving your heart and the sharing of yourself to the food service industry that you love so much.
Thank you, Chuck. You are family, for sure.
I love these. Okay, I've only got two more. Jeff Tate from Tablecraft. Melissa Greenwald is one of a kind. She is such a fantastic executor of developing a game plan and delivering on it. She understands both her factories and customers' needs to be successful and develops her plans accordingly. I can always count on her to give a 360-degree perspective on any given issue and provide sound advice. On top of her business acumen, Melissa is an even better person. She is honest, she's fun, and she's a pleasure to be around. I'm thrilled to have her represent our company. And Dan, her husband, is pretty awesome too.
Yeah. It's like a bromance, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Ursula Vermillion.
Oh.
Right? I might cry. I admire Melissa's determination and ability to take risks. When others were exiting the rep business, Melissa started Greenwald Sales and Marketing from scratch. She is a smart businesswoman and a creative, out-of-the-box thinker. She values her team and is using technology to help develop her brand. She has embraced the industry by getting involved and given freely of her time, which has to be limited since she's become a wife and a mother. Melissa is a people person and a great communicator. No one is a stranger for long when they've met Melissa. It's been fun watching Melissa build her company and her family, and I'm looking forward to see what successes the future holds for her.
Oh.
So fun. By the way, one more, real quick. Brad chimed in a couple sentences to me. I'm sure Melissa is going to be a great interview. Brad Wasserstrom.
Oh.
She is smart. She is kind. She is funny. She has a real passion for the industry, and she's done a great job building a business while balancing family and the pandemic. Wow. Love it.
Love those guys. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Awesome.
Isn't that the best part of it all, is these people who maybe start as customers or clients, and they do become like extended family.
Definitely.
For anyone watching, if you're watching on LinkedIn or you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube right now, where we're streaming live, and you are not in food service, I would say, if you've watched tonight, there's a bunch of things you took out. But one of the coolest things in food service is the relationships that are built. There's an army of people in this thing we call food service that have your back and you build relationship with and become like family, that care for you, that love you well, that want to see you succeed. They want to see you grow, and they're willing to give of their time with nothing expected in return, to Chris's point, to help you do so. So we would welcome you in whatever industry you're joining us tonight from. we'd love to have you. If you're curious about what a career in food service looks like, who knows, we'd be making a food service blog, but you can reach out to Melissa. You can reach out to me. So many people watching. We're happy to tell you what this world of food service is about. We would love to have you. It's the greatest gift of our industry, in my opinion. And Melissa and I are both fortunate to get to share that with one another, with our colleagues, with our teams, with our customers, and hopefully with you. Melissa, thank you again. Total joy. So appreciate you joining us. And for anyone watching, listen, keep going. We're continuing on. We hope to see you at NRA or an upcoming show. For those who will be at NRA in Chicago, it feels like our big time to come back together and be in a booth and share some meals and share some drink and share some laughs and some story. Hopefully we will see you there. If you find yourself in a particularly tough place right now, our encouragement to you would be keep going. We all have moments where things don't work out the way we hope. Melissa shared about not passing the bar exam for the first time, and she had a decision. She was going to keep going. She was going to make it happen. It might have been hard, and it might have been a lot more studying, and it might have been all of these things, but it mattered. And so keep going. Make sure you reach out to people that you trust, people that you've built relationship with. You're welcome to reach out to me if you need an ear. We're happy to point you in the right direction. If you need any support, any help, we're building a resources tab on the FS Power Plant website. If you need like addiction services, if you need some coaching advice, if you need counseling or therapy to work through some stuff from your past, if you just need people to connect with, John Hinman, who was on a few weeks ago, in that community that does like daily group coaching through Zoom. We want to connect you with people that can have your back and help you in your journey. So keep going and reach out if we can help in any way. Again, thanks to the Zumba team for putting on this awesome awards dinner that's going to happen at NRA, where Melissa and so many will be honored. Thanks to the Crave team for being a part of this journey. Everyone, thanks for joining us. Have a really, really great night. We'll see you soon. Be well.